I'll take Shahada now if you can answer the question. Listen, your personal Quran, what is the name of the manuscript?
Jason,
and give me the evidence.
Jason, look at my face. Look at my face. Hello. Pasta.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And no, you haven't got Mansour to back you up. You haven't got Hijab to back you up. Hashim, come on, bro. Come on, they won't come. He won't come. Hashim, come on, bro.
No, go on.
See, they won't come. They won't come. They won't come. They're always having a break when we talk about this.
Now, in the Christian scriptures, we have those textual variations and we're open about them. We acknowledge that they're there and we discuss them openly.
However, how the
Muslims, by comparison, you Muslims are in denial about the fact that you have textual variations between your Qurans.
I'm telling you the same.
What then is the point of Muslim speakers coming to the corner and pointing out the historical process that the Bible has been through when you are admitting that your own Quran has gone through the same historical process?
You cannot speak about Islam.
Are you consistent to your own principle?
Can I speak?
Hold on. You established a principle you're not being consistent to.
My friend,
you just said you can't speak about something without the right qualifications. Well, I have a qualification in religious studies. Do you have a qualification in religious studies? Do you?
Muslims claim that every Quran is the same. Muslims say every Quran is identical. And yet, when they are confronted with evidence that contradicts these claims, this is how they behave.
Allah hates you right now. Allah hates you right now. You have no manners.
You made it look as if the manuscripts are all tally with each other, and no, they're in harmony. They're not. You have 2,500 manuscripts, not two are identical.
No good attacking me.
No, but I'm saying, you went to that man knowing that he probably didn't study
No,
the
he
manuscripts.
started it. He started it. I didn't start it. He started it.
If I say the Bible, listen, you know the pericope adultery in the Bible? John chapter 7, verse 53 to John chapter 8, verse 11.
He does that.
Right. Not many people will know this. Do you know the adultery, pericope adultery? Do you know it? No, you won't. This is my point. Not everybody will know it because they haven't studied it.
Right.
You might know it.
Right.
So you, by that sense, why did you go to the man knowing that he might not have knowledge of the manuscript?
Let me explain. I went over there because Mike was debating him.
I'll record it because I don't trust
record it. I'll record it. Mike was debating him. Mike was debating him on the Son of God.
On Son of God.
Yeah.
No manuscript.
No, it was on the Son of God. And there was a bit of shouting, so I went over to help him. So I said, I'll take over, right? Then he started to talk about the Bible's changed. He said, I'll ask a question. And he said, the Bible's changed. So I thought, it's an own goal. Wait a minute.
Is there any question here?
Can I just finish? That's the topic that I prepared before I come down. I've got manuscripts of the Quran in here, ancient manuscripts, Standard manuscripts. Wait a minute, textual variants.
I know what you bring with you.
Let me finish. So,
but why go to that man? You know that he's probably not
because he was taught. He brought that topic, not me.
He brought the topic of textual criticism.
He said the Bible's changed. He said the Bible's changed.
Bible changed.
Did he not? Right.
But it doesn't mean textual criticism. No, it's not. It's not.
The Bible's changed. It's textual criticism.
Textual criticism goes into detail. So if I say Bible's changed and I give you one verse,
Hamza, I didn't pick on him. Hamza picks on young Christians all the time. Right?
No.
Yeah.
But if I ask here, how many people know which year?
Hamza is. I would say Hamza is this. I'll tell you what Hamza is. He is a hermeneutical terrorist.
What did you say?
He butchering the Bible, attacking young Christians. Yeah? I didn't bring the topic up, he brought the topic up. So answer the question.
81.
Answer the
This is what I'm
question.
saying. Not many people know.
Answer the question. Answer the question. Answer the question, young Muslim.
Not many people know it.
Your
I'm not here to
Quran,
debate.
it doesn't matter. Enlighten us. A young Muslim can help us. Are you a Muslim? Yeah.
You know
The
the
Quran
discussion
that you
I'm having.
use, what's the name of the manuscript behind your Quran?
What you mean by that? I don't understand what you mean by the question. You might not have the same knowledge as you.
You Muslims are attacking the Bible every week here. You're saying the Bible's changed, the Bible's changed. I asked these Muslims, what is the name of the manuscript behind your own personal Quran? What is it, bro?
I'm not here to debate.
See, they don't like it. They don't like it. What's the name of the manuscript behind your own personal Quran?
Mansour already rinsed you on this topic. Why you come back?
Why are you scared of answering?
Topic.
They can't deal with it, you see. It's a very simple
But he said
question.
top copy though. At the beginning
Yeah, he
top
said
copy.
top copy,
What's
but now
the
he says
earliest manuscript we have for New Testament?
No, don't change the
What's the
subject.
earliest
Don't change the
manuscript? No,
subject.
you're the textual criticism expert.
Don't
I'm not.
translation
is different from the Bible. We know
Don't
I am
change
not.
the
I am
subject.
not the expert. I don't know.
change the
I don't know.
subject.
Right. You ask me. I
I'll
don't
become
know.
a Muslim now if you answer the question.
Listen.
Yeah?
I'm telling you.
I'll take Shahada now if you can answer the question. Listen. Your personal Quran, what is the name of the manuscript?
Jason, let's
And
look.
give me the evidence.
Jason, look at my face. Look at my face. Hello. Basta.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
childish.
7,
Absolutely
8,
childish.
9, 10. End of.
Look at my face. You ask
He's filming Christians every week, showing them up, and he can't answer a simple question.
Listen, look at my face. You ask me a question.
Intellectually
Let me answer.
dishonest.
Ask him
No,
question.
answer
Then
that question.
Right. Let me answer.
No,
You
you're getting a Burns question, bro. Answer that question.
Self-flattery will not get you anywhere. You just
Answer
pump
the
yourself
question.
up.
No, answer the
Listen.
question.
Let me answer then. Stop interrupting. Right. I don't know. What's the earliest manuscript for the New Testament you have? What's the earliest manuscript?
Mate,
You pass yourself as a scholar. I don't. I don't know the earliest manuscript. What's the earliest manuscript of the New Testament?
Listen. You don't
You're
get
the
to,
scholar.
No,
Look
don't,
at you. Look all the
listen,
stuff you bring with
you
you.
don't get to ask me a question
Why not?
when your faith has been defeated. It's end of.
That's your opinion. My
It's
faith
end
is
of. Right?
Listen.
We want to talk to
We have
people
videos online
who were
to show you.
who were a challenge to us. You're not a challenge anymore. It's end of, bro.
I'm not a challenge.
No.
You've been rinsed here with your manuscript. Remember,
you haven't rinsed
your
me.
documents went everywhere. You looking for stuff.
My friend, you haven't
It's on
rinsed me.
YouTube.
You haven't rinsed me, bro.
It's on YouTube. We'll put the
If
links
you've
up.
rinsed me, bring them now. Come on, let's see them come. They
It's on
won't come.
YouTube.
They won't come.
It's on
Where are they?
YouTube.
Where are they? Where are
Right.
they?
You said you're the scholar. I'm
Where
not.
are they? Where are they?
You said you're one of the best scholars there is.
No, I never said that.
That's what you said
No,
on
I've
there.
never said
We
that.
recorded
No, I
you.
never said
We
that.
recorded you.
Show us then. Show us.
I'm not going to stop the
Show us.
recording. I'm not stopping.
Show us.
I'll send it to you. I have your email. I'll send it to you.
Have your email.
Mate, don't make claims like that, mate. Don't make
It's on
I'll-
tape.
I'll
I'll make the claim
You want a
again.
cup of tea?
I'll make the claim again. It's
I
on
do
tape.
like you. I do like you.
But what I'm saying
But
to
you've
you,
got to be true.
you're dishonest going to
No,
people.
you are dishonest, attacking Christians every week, and then when it's turned on you,
Attacking them.
you can't deal with it, so you attack me as a person. But I don't lie. You've
I can
lied.
deal with it. I
You've
said
lied.
I don't know.
He said
I
that
dealt
the
with
name of his the name of the manuscript behind his personal Quran
I
is
dealt
what?
with it. I said
Is
I don't
what?
know. And I'm
no,
asking
no,
you,
you
what's
said
your
before.
earliest
What did he say before?
What's your
Top
earliest
copy.
manuscript?
Wait a minute.
What's your earliest
Don't
manuscript?
change the subject. Listen. It's
talking
end
about
of
manuscript?
debate. It's end of debate.
Why is changing?
Because
Why is this a change of topic?
because you
We're
can't
talking about
attack,
manuscripts.
no, you can't attack the Bible and say the Bible's changed. Right?
It's obvious.
Listen.
It's changed. Acts 8:37 is not there.
Listen.
1 John 5:7 is not there.
Listen.
The adultery pericope adultery is not there.
Listen.
So I didn't say it's changed.
Listen.
Your scholars removed it.
Listen.
Your scholars have removed the verses.
Listen. You don't even know what manuscript is behind your Quran. We have manuscript. We can talk about the Byzantine.
So why have you these changes?
Excuse me.
Why have you got these changes?
Sinaiticus and Vaticanus. We can talk about the manuscripts. You can't. So what that means is...
1 John 5:7 appear in your books.
Listen.
When did they appear?
No, listen.
When did they appear?
We're doing
You're the scholar.
the Christian world's doing scholarship. You're doing cultism. You're the cult.
I don't want your opinions. I'm
You're
asking
not
you,
intellectual.
1:5.
When the
1
Cambridge
John
Quran,
5:7, when
the
did it
Cambridge
appear in your
companion,
manuscripts?
the Cambridge companion to the Quran says there has never been a textual edition of the Quran ever made.
1 John 5:7. When did it appear in your manuscripts?
Listen, you're not even in the game intellectually. It's over, bro.
1 John 5:7. When did it appear in your manuscripts?
You're not dealing with the scholarship.
You're the scholar.
I'm gonna give you 101 on textual criticism. Right? Let's go. Right? I'm gonna show you now. Let me show you.
I'm asking you.
I'm gonna answer.
John
Let me
5:7. When did it appear in your manuscripts?
Let me answer the question, right? In textual criticism, right, there are many manuscripts, right? There's the Byzantine manuscripts. Let me finish. I'll answer it, right?
Yeah.
He's asking me, they say the Bible's changed, right?
No. I said about 1 John 5:7.
Let me finish. Right, I'm giving you 101 on textual criticism, and I'm showing you how intellectually dishonest the Muslim
Stop ad
Dawah
hominem. Get to the point.
Let me finish.
Stop insulting people. Get to the point.
Let me finish.
You're a bastard.
Let me finish.
You're an example to others.
What are you scared of?
I'm not scared of you.
Well, just be quiet. Let me give you a
No, I'm
lesson.
scared.
Let me give you a lesson in textual criticism.
Yeah, go on. You're the scholar. I'm not.
No, just
You went up there, said you're one of the top
No, I never said
Bible
that.
scholars.
No, I never said that. No, I never. You're lying.
There's another way.
No, you're lying. He doesn't know what day of week it is.
Sunday, you idiot, you're fat, look at
I'm
you.
saying it.
Just let me finish, right? We have. Are you ready? We have 5,000 ancient manuscripts.
No two are identical.
Let me finish.
This is from your scholars.
Let me finish.
Yeah, carry on.
Don't get upset anymore.
No, but you stood there and said,
Stay
you gave this
intellectual.
speech as if they're all the same.
Don't
and
be emotional.
Everything's hunky-dory, the sun's out,
What are you
the birds
scared
are
of?
chirping.
What are you scared of?
Scared.
I know
This is
you haven't got Mansour
This
to
is
back you up.
schoolyard talk.
You haven't got hijab to back you up.
Schoolyard talk. You're scared.
Hashim, come on, bro. Come on, they won't come. He won't come. Hashim, come on, bro.
No, go on.
See, they won't come. They won't come. They won't come. They're always having a break when we talk about this.
Let's hear it. One,
They're always on
John
holiday.
5:7. When did it
They're always on holiday. Look,
No, they're
I
not.
bet you they won't come. If they come, they'll get wasted.
No, you'll get
Right?
wasted.
Right? We have 5,000 ancient manuscripts, right? We have, listen, we have, yeah, they just want nice photo shots. They don't want to get into scholarship. Hasham, how's the photos doing? Do you want to have a chat? Come on, bro.
Just insults.
Yeah. The mighty Hasham there. He's on
I need
holiday.
to go and pray.
He's on holiday. Oh, he needs to go pray now.
Hurry up.
Right, we have 5,000 ancient manuscripts. We name them. We have Sinaiticus Vaticanus, right? And then we have manuscripts like the Byzantine text, which are in the Middle Ages, right? So we have these 5,000. Now, modern scholarship takes Sinaiticus and Vaticanus because they say that's the oldest, right? But whichever school of thought you take, we name, when we do textual criticism, whether it be the King James, NIV, we name the manuscripts that we use for that Bible translation. What I'm saying to you, it's no good saying there are textual variants in the NIV. Let me finish. There's no good saying there are textual variants about 1 John, about the end of Mark, whatever, because we will talk to you about specific manuscripts. I'm asking you about your Quran.
He's answering my question with a question.
No, listen, it's a very...
This is the scholar. He's answering my question with a question.
No,
You're
I'm not
creating a
preaching.
double standard.
It's all about evidence. Have you got evidence to back out? That's what you're saying.
I'm asking him a question. Why should I provide evidence? Asking questions.
I've been asking the Muslims this question because they said the Bible's
Sinaiticus
changed.
had two
Is this a
extra
third
books
question?
you don't have in
Go
your
on,
Bible?
what's the fair question?
If we're debating and talking about Bible translations, King James, NIV, we will talk about specific manuscripts behind that Bible translation.
Yes,
And scholars will name those manuscripts.
they will.
You're the scholar.
Right? I've asked every Muslim here, standing over there, their own personal Quran, what is the name of the manuscript behind their own personal Quran?
It's a very good question.
Yeah, very good question.
And no one can answer
He's
it.
the scholar, I'm not. My answer is I don't know.
So,
Now, my question
what-
to you,
okay.
when did 1 John 5:7 appear in your manuscript?
If I may say though, that there is a double standard amongst the Islamic Dawah team. That they demand of Christians, hold on, just as you're doing, you're demanding,
But why is he not answering my
when
question?
was this particular passage, in which
That's what he's
manuscript did
asking
it
from me.
appear? Hold on one second. Hold on one second. This is a question Muslims have been asking Christians many years. But now it has come to light that there are textual variants amongst the Quran. It is now fair of us to reverse that question and ask
What
of
do you know about the
Muslims.
textual variants?
Well, which version of the Quran do you believe in? The Hafs Quran, the Wash Quran, the
All 7 ways of reading have
You
been
said there's only
reviewed.
one Quran. So if I have a Hafs Quran, a Wash Quran, and a Duri Quran, have I got one Quran or have I got 3 Qurans?
All these recitations go back to Muhammad.
So all these different
these, they go back to
recitations.
one. Yeah.
So we're saying there's more than one
We have a
Quran.
chart tracing it back.
So you're saying
Hafs
there's
from
more than
Asim,
one Quran?
Warsh from Nafi'.
I'll read you the textual variants. Sign a manuscript. You just look at there. There's a list of the signing manuscripts with textual variants versus missing.
We're open about our textual variants. You Muslims are in denial about your textual variants. Which version
We don't
of
have
the Quran? The
versions.
Hafs Quran, the Duri
We
Quran,
have
the Wash
different
Quran.
recitation going back
Which
to the
version?
Prophet.
There's one version.
We have the different
So if
recitation.
I have a
going-
Hafs Quran, a Wash Quran, and a Duri Quran, do I have one Quran or 3 Qurans? It's like we've got English, we've got Scottish. It's the same. So if they are the same,
The recitation when you're reading it.
so in what way is the recitation
There's a
different?
hadith that says
In
Quran
what way
has
is
been
the
revealed in 7
recitation
different
different?
recitations, 7 different modes.
7 different modes. In
Yeah.
what way is the recitation different?
Say we got English, we got a Scottish accent, a Welsh accent, if you could draw a parallel.
Now you're trying to say it's just about accent, so you're saying that there are no word differences.
That's one parallel you can
Right, then you need to go away and do your scholarship because studies have already been made of these various different versions of the Quran and we have done a word by word analysis and there are word differences between them. So you need to go away and do your reading.
Okay, we got English. That's what I'm drawing a parallel. So English, we got the Scottish. All right, you got Scots speak a different. Welsh, it's all English at the end
This
of the day.
is not accents, brother.
I'm drawing
We're talking, I know what you're saying.
I'm drawing a parallel.
I get what you're saying. You're saying it's just
Gonna go.
about
Can't deal with scholarship.
No, it's not that. You're the one claiming scholarship.
You see, textual variants,
Do you
bro.
agree with me
Textual
that the Wash,
variants,
the Duri, and the Hafs Qurans are all manuscripts?
yeah? Textual variants. This is scholarship 101.
That they're written codex?
Mansour,
Do you
answer
even
that
understand
one.
the terminology I'm using?
I know what you're saying.
So,
I know what you're saying.
So answer my question.
I know what you're saying.
Do you
This
agree
comes
that the
from
Hafs, the Wash, and the Duri are written codex?
Tap out. No, it's a debate.
He's a wise man.
I'm trying to gauge what you're saying.
So I'm asking you a very simple, basic question. It's elementary. I already know the answer. I just want to see if you do.
Those, as you say, in your quotation, go back to the Prophet Muhammad. They go back to him.
And the question that I'm asking is a simple one. The Hafs, the Wash, and the Duri recitations, as you call them, are they codified in manuscript?
As in written form.
Yes.
They are today.
Thank
could
you.
say. But
So,
do they go back
hold
to
on
the
one
Prophet
second.
Muhammad?
Hold on. We'll come
Yes,
to that.
yeah,
We will
they
come
do.
to that. We
They
will
do,
come
yeah.
to that. We'll come to that. We'll come to that. So we are agreed that we have different manuscripts. Do you know what a textual variant is?
Okay, so for example, we got Surah Fatiha, first verse. We have Alhamdulillah, we have Maliki Yawmiddin in one version, then we got Maliki Yawmiddin. Is that what you're referring to?
So, these codified recitations, they are in manuscripts. Do you know what a textual variant is?
Wasn't it? Well, what's the textual? As in
Yeah,
difference.
how
in
do
the text?
academics define a textual variant?
So, like I'm give you an example, Maliki Yawmiddin and Maliki Yawmiddin. As the brother said, the difference in qira'at in recitation.
Okay.
There's a difference.
So you're not actually answering the question, so I'll tell you the answer. A textual variant is where you have the same text on different manuscripts,
But then it's
and
not-
then when you compare those manuscripts, you find differences. Now, those differences could be differences of words, they could be differences of letters, they could be differences of entire passages. Now, in the Christian scriptures, we have those textual variations, and we're open about them. We acknowledge that they're there, and we discuss them openly.
However, how the
Muslims, by comparison, you Muslims, are in denial about the fact that you have textual variations between your Qurans. The Hafs Quran, the Wash Quran, they're not there. It's not one Quran though.
But there's a general consensus among the Muslims
Yeah.
that there is one Quran. From the Prophet Muhammad, it's been learned by memorization. there's no difference as in one and the other. The Bible, on the other hand, the Christian scholars themselves have thrown out so many gospels, so many, bits above, so it's not the same thing.
I think you're confusing canon with textual variant. They're not the same thing. A comparison of that level needs to be made between the hadiths, because Muslims disagree about which hadiths to use to interpret the
But
Quran.
however, hadith is the words of the Prophet, whereas you're saying the Bible is the word of God or whoever.
What
Can I just say
yeah, go on, jump.
The Cambridge Companion to the Quran, which is the most prestigious academic piece of work on the Quran, the scholars say there has never been a textual edition of the Quran. In other words, gathering all the manuscripts that we have and then saying, as we look at all the variants, as we look at all the manuscripts, and make one Quran. So you're coming and asking us questions about the Bible, right? And we're asking you about your manuscripts. You can't even name them behind your own Quran, and there's no scholarship being
But there is only one Quran. That's what I'm saying.
This is the point,
You're not
though.
dealing
When
with
you
the
say there's only one Quran, are you talking about the Hafs Quran, the Wash Quran, or the Duri
It
Quran?
comes back to one Quran at the end.
It comes back to one
It is the one
Quran.
Quran.
So at some point they diverge.
No, they don't have it.
So they're the same.
Okay, how did we preserve the Quran?
Are they the
Quran
same?
Yes, they are the same.
So they're identical.
It's like you got twins. You two are two identical, one non-identical.
Okay.
You can't play in that context.
Okay, so it's a completely false
When you say
analogy.
there's different Qurans, different in the sense that words, dialects, linguistically, grammatically,
They are different in tense.
in meaning, are they different in
Their
meaning?
difference in declination, their difference in wording, and these differences, these variations, they don't change any essential doctrine of Islam. This is not my argument, and if I was to argue that, I would be being dishonest, because that would be
Are any
counterfactual.
of these so-called versions contradictory with one another?
These so-called, these actual variants of versions have minor impact on the immediate sense of a particular ayah or verse.
Do they change the meaning?
Do they change the meaning of the immediate ayah or verse? Yes. Do they change some grand Islamic doctrine? No. But the point is, one thing that they do contradict is this claim that you're making that all the Qurans are the same. That's what it contradicts. It contradicts this idea that the Quran was a book that never went through a historical process like every other piece of literature in the world, which is false. It did. And we see it. You know Kufic Arabic.
The only difference is with the Quran, it's a recitation.
Are there
It's been
vowels in
recited.
Kufic Arabic?
I don't know.
No, there isn't. There
They
isn't.
were introduced to help non-Arab.
Non-Muslims. So the text of the Quran went through revision, didn't it?
Not the actual.
The text of the Quran went through revision. Thank you. So the text of the Quran went through revision. Now, the texts of the Quran, when we compare Hafs to Wash and Hafs and Wash to Duri, they're not identical, are they? No, they're not. So we can say honestly, without lying or distortion, that there is more than one Quran. Now, tell me, do you know when the Hafs Quran was canonized? No. Do you know what a canonization is? Right. A canonization is a Western Christian term. It means when something is given that standard of authority that has to be accepted by everyone. Okay? This process happened within the Islamic world only in 1924 for the Hafs. It was produced in Egypt because after Egypt gained its independence, as they set up their educational system, they imported Qurans from around the world to teach Muslim students the Quran. And the Muslim students themselves were saying that these Qurans that were coming from Morocco were different from the ones that were coming from Pakistan. The students were saying that. So the king of Egypt established a commission to trace back through a system of recitation, a Hafs version of the Quran, which was then adopted by the Salafists in Saudi Arabia, mass-produced and distributed across the world.
God, no have religion. No have nothing. It's simple. Everybody have one. Why change? No have God, no have religion. No Muslim, no Christian, no nothing. God for everybody.
You're
Why
saying-
speak two Muslim, two Shaitan, two Christian, two like this? No. God no like this.
Brother, I disagree with you in the sense that God does not have a religion. God reveals the truth, and that truth is the one that He wishes people to follow. I don't believe in this pluralist idea that all religions are somehow equal. I just don't believe in that. So let me just ask you this question: When was the Hafs Quran standardized? When was these recitations discussed first amongst Muslims? Do you know? Do any of you know? All of you Muslims, do you know?
No. What you need to do, Bob, wait when Brother Mansour comes, then can you do to him these questions? Because he didn't
I'm sorry.
We didn't study.
No, I don't need
we
to
didn't
wait.
study.
I'm
No. Because
I don't need to wait.
Because
I don't
you're
need to
lying
wait.
about, because
So-
the Muslim is not like you,
so-
they can lie.
I'm sorry. He listened to the logic. He's saying that I'm lying to you. Well, there's a real reason, there's a way that you can see if I'm lying. Go away and do the research yourself. Don't believe what you have heard in the mosque. Go away and do the research yourself.
What did you hear in the mosque?
Okay, what you hear in the mosque is what you're repeating here, that there's only one Quran and they're all the same. What's actually the fact is that there's many different kinds of Qurans, Hafs, Warsh, Duri, and this very standard of recitation was only discussed amongst Muslims in the 13th century. Now, how long was it between Muhammad and the establishment of these variating Qurans? 13th century, 7th century. Someone could do the maths.
Did you say there are many Qurans?
There are many Qurans.
Okay. But every Quran says there's only one God.
That's true.
Only one God.
I agree.
And no man can
The
see
main
it.
major beliefs are still there.
No, absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
That's your answer.
I don't want to try and overstate my case. I am not arguing that these textual variants contradict some fundamental doctrine of Islam, except the doctrine that the Quran is a preserved book. This is the only Islamic doctrine that is contradicted by these textual variants. Every other Islamic belief remains intact.
But haven't all the main beliefs been conserved since the time of the Prophet?
Right, well, this is the point. This idea that there is only one Quran and every Quran in the world is the same is to me, at least, a completely modernist invention by Salafist Muslims. Because if you read classical Muslim literature, the classicist Muslims were aware of textual variants. It was the first Muslims in the 13th century that standardized the idea of different recitations.
Does it say that a man is God? Does it say in the Jewish books, in the Talmud or any of the Jewish books,
Honestly, it's
that
not
a
really
man
a major
will
problem
come
in Islam.
and he will be your Lord? You
Right.
will be Jehovah.
The brother
or
here-
Adonai, Hashem.
The brother
he
here-
will be Allah.
the
he
brother
will
here-
not be a man.
the brother
That's
here-
your answer. He will
The
not
brother
be a
here
man.
didn't listen to what I said.
No, listen to
He
what
didn't
I
listen
say.
to what I said.
There's no
I
book
did not
on
say
this planet
that any fundamental
any
Islamic
Quran
doctrine was
or the
compromised
Sunnah
by
or
textual
anything
variants.
where it says a man will be God.
The problem
God
is
doesn't eat
that
food.
Muslims
he doesn't
are
go
here
to the toilet.
claiming
he doesn't go to the sleep.
that the
You
Quran
can't see
is
him.
one
So
and
what he's
identical,
talking is rubbish.
and that is contrary to the evidence.
You're rubbish.
The
Talking
evidence is
rubbish.
clear. There are variants amongst different
Talking
Qurans.
rubbish.
Okay. What? No, I can't read Arabic. But this is why, because of the
telling them there's no
read Arabic now.
Quran,
What I want to know
no
is
Quran, no Jewish Talmud.
Well, I'll give you some
nothing
examples.
that says
So if you want to come here,
the Creator will be a man.
this is a
That's all that
Photoshop
matters.
from the
You
Hafs
can't find
and the
that
Duri
in your
with
Bible.
regards to one of the words in these
New
passages,
Testament,
which is
where Saul of
transliterated
Tarsus
as
told you
Yakzabuna
you
in
can
the Hafs
preach,
and
you can do this and that. When
Yakazabuna
Jesus said you can't do it.
the Duri.
We haven't got
Now,
that
the
in the
sort of
Quran.
impact that makes
The
is
Quran
it's
is the holy
translated as
word
they
of
lie,
Allah.
whereas in the other one it's they
1450 years
accuse
old.
others
Not
of
one
lying.
word has been changed.
Yeah?
Okay.
Now that has a minor
Right.
impact on that verse. It doesn't change the overall
Don't know
context,
nothing.
but it has a minor impact of the verse, so that is a textual variant. So you can no longer say that one Quran exists and that all Qurans are the same. You can't say that. It's counterfactual.
But what is the whole verse? In the heart is disease. Yeah, that makes sense, but it's the same main idea. It's not really.
No, hold on, listen. In there, this is the Hafs version as it's translated into English. In their hearts is a disease, and Allah increaseth their disease. A painful doom is theirs because they lie. So Allah is saying that this group of people lie. Okay, but in the Duri version, as it's translated into English, it reads, they accuse, in their hearts is a disease, and Allah increaseth their disease, a painful doom in their hearts because they accuse others of lying.
Look. You see the design of two words.
Yeah.
It's different.
It's different, I agree, it's different.
It's different. How is different?
I agree it's different.
No, it's not different.
I can see with my own eyes it's different.
Yeah. Kappa, D, B. Wow.
What we have to sign is here.
No.
I'm afraid.
No.
No.
It's not different, brother.
No.
It's not different.
No.
It's not different. يكذبون. يكذبون.
No.
The design of the word, before is not any signs.
Here's the reason why I don't believe you. Here's the reason why I don't believe you.
Tell me, what is the reason?
Because I've already checked this with Arabic speakers before coming here with this.
I am an Arabic speaker.
That's fine. I've spoke to Arabic speakers. They agree with me that these words are different words.
Different, there are some differences.
Are they different?
Yeah, but you have to look.
Thank you. Did you get that?
The main structure of the
So
word.
my point is proven. My point is proven.
Like that.
I'm not trying to over exaggerate my claim. I am merely pointing out there are textual variations between different Qurans. Now, this only contradicts one Islamic doctrine. The idea that the Quran is one and the same across the world. Every other doctrine you believe in is fine. It's not affected by what I'm talking about. If you didn't claim that all Qurans were one and the same, this wouldn't be a problem. But you do claim that, and that's why it's a problem.
In the time of the Prophet Muhammad, it was dots.
Here we have two Arabic speakers. One says there is no difference. One says there is a difference.
You have the dot.
So who do you want to believe?
The time of the Prophet Muhammad, it was dot or no?
I spoke to Arabic speakers and they said these were different. I checked what I came with.
Yes or no?
I didn't come without checking this with an Arabic
You read
speaker.
in manuscript.
I checked
you have all
everything
the
that I'm talking
signs.
about with a native Arabic speaker. There is a minor difference in the translation.
Oh,
yeah,
wait,
there's a minor difference.
No,
The translation is wrong.
It's not.
He's saying it's wrong, he's saying it is. He's saying there is no change, he's saying there is a change.
The first surah, Malik Yawm al-Din and Malik Yawm al-Din.
Let's use this one.
No, but you have to look
Let's
at
use
this
this one.
example
Okay, you
first.
can use this one.
So let's use this one.
Okay, go ahead.
One
Can you read it in Arabic?
No, I can't read it in
So how do you
Arabic.
know?
No, I'll read it now.
Did you not hear me like 2 minutes ago, or were you just ignoring me?
You see,
Did I just ignore you?
Did you just ignore me?
I said learn
What did I
Arabic.
say I did before I came here with this?
I said you learn
What did I
Arabic
do?
and then tell me the difference.
No, what
yourself.
did I do?
What did you do?
I don't believe in Arabization. I've got
you
my
don't?
own culture, thank you.
Okay,
If
no.
God can't speak to me in my own
So you
language,
can't learn my
then
religion.
that's the
I'm so
failure
sorry.
of your God.
You don't know anything about Islam.
It's the failure of your God. I don't believe in Arabization. If God wants to speak to me, let him speak to me in my own language.
If you want to destroy my religion,
Why must I be
learn my language.
Arabized for God to speak to me?
If you want to destroy my religion,
Why?
learn my language at least.
Why?
Don't destroy my religion.
Okay, so let's be clear. This is the translation. In there, this is the how the Hafs version is translated. In their hearts is a disease, and Allah increaseth their disease. A painful doom is theirs because they lie. So Allah is saying that this a group of people lie. In the Duri version, it says they accuse in their hearts is a disease, and Allah increases their disease. A painful doom is theirs because they accuse others of lying. That is a difference.
No,
The accusation is different. One is saying that Group A lies. The other one is saying that Group
honestly, he
A
has a point.
is accusing other people of lying. That is a difference.
Being honest, he's agreeing.
Yeah, we know this. This Muslim who can read Arabic says that there is a difference in the Arabic. This one says there isn't. This one says that there is a difference in the meaning. This one says there isn't. They can't agree about their own book.
I told you in the time the Prophet Muhammad, it was dot, yes, no.
There was no vowels in Arabic.
Ah,
So
that
the
means
text
for
of the
that-
Quran has
for
gone through a
that-
historical
for that-
process.
For that they come, these vowels, they come because the people, they can't pronounce, all of them, they can't pronounce the words. Like the brother, he told you about Maliki
Are they
and
different?
Maliki. Okay?
Are they different? You think they're the same thing? Well, I'm hearing conflicting information. I'm hearing conflicting information.
The actual letters in the word, the letter structure is exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's just the little, the little lines and everything are the ones that change.
The vowels.
No, they change the meaning.
They change the meaning. Thank you.
But what you have to understand is these editions, our editions, weren't there at the time of the prophecy.
Same meaning, my friend.
And they were introduced to help non-Arabic readers to read Arabic.
So you agree with me that the text of the Quran has gone through a historical process of addition. So, what then, if you, hold on 1 second, if Muslims are coming here, we'll go through another one, we'll go through another one.
I'm telling you the same
What
meaning.
then is the point of Muslim speakers coming to the corner and pointing out the historical process that the Bible has been through when you are admitting that your own Quran has gone through the same historical process?
What you have to understand
You're
is...
contradicted by other Muslims.
What you have to understand is...
Prove me wrong. One second. Prove me wrong. I beg you. Go on. Prove me wrong.
What you have to understand is the actual letters of the Quran have not been changed.
The what, sorry?
The actual letters.
The actual consonantal script.
The actual, literal, ABC, the letters were not changed.
The consonantal script. Because we know that vowels were added later.
Yeah.
Vowels were added in the 10th century and vowels are letters.
Thank you very much.
Vowels are letters. They were added later.
Thank you very much.
So another example. In the Hafs, Surah 258, it says, this is the Hafs version as it's translated. And remember when we said, enter this town and eat bountifully and say, forgive us and we shall forgive you your sins. Okay? In the Kalun version of the Quran, it says, and remember when we said to you, enter this town and eat bountifully and say, forgive us, and it shall be forgiven you your sins.
What's the difference?
The tense. The tense has changed.
What's the difference?
The tense has changed.
What's wrong?
There's a difference in tense.
What's the difference?
It's a difference in tense.
What's wrong with that?
Well, the point is you're saying that all Qurans are the same.
The Old Testament, your Bibles.
No, don't change the subject.
No, I'm saying the same
Don't
thing.
change the subject.
Forgives and forgives.
Don't change the subject.
Same thing.
Be
Forgives and
intellectually
forgives.
honest.
Different sense, same meaning.
Some words
Only the specialist can explain to you why. We cannot.
You have different testaments, you have different Bibles.
So you agree?
You can't
Do you agree?
You have difference in tenses. You have difference in meanings. I'm talking to you.
He's saying, say it to the camera because lots of Muslims need to hear this.
But this is the thing. But the only specialist can tell you.
So you agree? I have evidence. My point. There are differences. There are differences.
Some words here, they're like for vowels. Vowels
Are
are
they
not the
differences?
same. Vowels are not
Same
the
meaning.
same.
Are there differences?
But only the specialist can explain.
Are the
not
texts
me
the
nor
same or
somebody else.
different?
You need to search with some specialist. to
Okay,
explain to
so the point of the matter is, as the Arabic speaker says, and he's said to me quite clearly, and it's now on camera, there are differences between the texts.
No.
Now this is not a problem if you didn't say that all Qurans are the same.
There are differences in tenses, not in text.
He said the vowels.
Different text.
So it's a difference in text. It's a difference. You don't. What is a text?
What's the tense?
What's a text?
What's a tense?
I'll tell you what a tense is. You tell me what a text is.
Tell me what a tense
All right. A tense is a difference in terms of the time period. Whether something is future tense, present tense, past tense, continuous tense. There's not many other tenses. Now tell me what a text is.
In Arabic, there's more than one tense.
Tell me what a text
more than one tense
is.
in
I
Arabic.
know, I agree. We can see two of them here. I agree with you that we can see two of them here.
Explain to me in Arabic.
We can see two of them here. I answered your question.
Where?
Hold on. You said you would explain to me what a text
Where's
is.
the two?
No.
It's the same word.
Are you frightened to answer the question?
I'm not frightened.
So answer the question. What is a text? What is a text? What is a text? What is a text? Okay, so he doesn't want to answer. I'll tell him what a text is since he doesn't want to answer the very basic question. A text is when you have a document and on that document is writing. That is a text. It's a very simple answer. It's very basic. So what is a textual variant? It's when you have two texts and they are not identical, but they have the same material. He said they didn't. He said they didn't. He's an Arabic speaker. So you're deciding who's an Arabic speaker and who isn't. I've had two Muslims stood right next to you. Both of them agree that there are textual variants here, and you're saying they're both wrong.
Put the camera down.
No, it doesn't need to put the camera
why is
down.
scared for?
It doesn't need to
Same
put the
spelling,
camera
by the
down.
way. It's the same spelling. Proof to me is different.
Okay.
Proof
So
to me is no.
we'll look at another one. We'll look at another one. No, you're not
Don't run
dictating
away.
this.
Don't run away.
So,
look at the spelling.
in the Hafs
Same
version,
spelling or not? He's not
and
answering my
when
question.
we made
You
a
can't
house,
answer my question.
a place of resort for mankind
You
and
answer
a
my question
place
or
for
not?
safety,
Is it the same spelling? Yes
and
or no?
take
There you go.
from the
There you go.
place of Ibrahim
answer my
as
question.
a place of
You
prayer.
can't answer my question.
That's in the Hafs
It's
version.
the same spelling, yes or no?
Okay.
Is it the same spelling, yes or
In
no?
the Ibn
There you
Aymar
go.
version,
You can't answer my
it
question.
says...
I just want to withdraw because they are the same
He's running
spelling.
away.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to withdraw my
care.
statement.
Okay,
because
of
there are
course,
differences.
of course, of
I
course.
discussed with the brother.
He
explained to me.
contradicted himself.
And when we made the house a place of resort for mankind and a place of safety, and they took or have taken from the place of Ibrahim as a place of prayer. This is a textual variant. Now let me ask you this question, brother. You have been brought up to believe that every single Quran is the same.
Educate yourself. Learn Arabic. Don't tell me it's
Identical is what
different.
you were told. Are they
Arabic,
identical
don't
what
tell me
you've seen? No. So who's lying to you? Me or the Imam? Think about it. I am not inviting you to embrace something like Islam. I'm inviting you to embrace something different to Islam. If Muslims had the Christian doctrine that we have, which is that all scripture is inspired by God but is the words of men, then textual variants are nothing to be frightened of so long as they don't dilute the essential message of the apostles and prophets, which is that there is one God, that God is worshipped as Father, Son and Holy Spirit, that God became a man in Jesus Christ, was crucified on the cross, rose on the third day, is coming again in judgment, that there is one community of faith known as the church. Amen. And that on the day of resurrection that there will be a day of judgment when those who have given their faith to Christ and demonstrated that through the fruits of good works will go to heaven, and those who have rejected faith in Christ will pay the wage for their sin.
Yeah, but something like this wouldn't...
No, I agree. So if you had that doctrine that we have, none of this would be a problem. You would just go, so what? These are just minor differences.
Yeah, but this is the thing. This like people say that it's all the same, but let's say, for example, isn't for the sake of argument. Yeah? The imams are saying it. Just because the imams say it doesn't mean that.
Yes. So my question to you: who's lying to you? Now, shouldn't a mosque be a place where you are informed in truth?
Do the research yourself.
When we go to church, they talk about our textual differences. Do you know why? Because the textual variations make no difference to Christian doctrine.
Yeah, but here they don't make.
I agree with you, except the doctrine that all Qurans are the same and identical. That's the only doctrine that's conflicted by this evidence.
Yeah, but in Islamic literature, where is that doctrine?
I have seen it plenty. You've got Zakir Naik. Zakir Naik is watched by tens of millions of Muslims, particularly in Pakistan and India. And he is constantly saying every Quran is identical. You've got people like Ahmadidat. His books, he was awarded by the King of Saudi Arabia, an award by the King of Saudi Arabia for his works, for his work in spreading Islam. Millions of Muslims are giving out his books for free. He says every Quran is the same. You've got Shabir Ali. Shabir Ali is someone who's watched by tens of millions of English-speaking Muslims in America and Britain and Canada. He is going around saying every Quran is identical. They are lying to you, and the evidence is clear.
How do you prove that it is not identical?
I'm sorry?
How do you prove that it is not identical?
How do you prove that it's not illogical?
Illogical.
Illogical. Identical. How do you prove something is not identical? Well, what you do is you compare different manuscripts of the Quran. The claim is that you do it scientifically, because this is something that you can negate.
Just, I want to
You've asked me a question. Can I answer the question? Can I answer the question you asked? How can you prove it that they're not identical? The way you can't prove that they're all identical. That's impossible. What you can, though, is look you have a thesis. The thesis is every Quran is the same and every Quran is identical. That's the thesis. Now you go out to disprove it by simply comparing as many different manuscripts as possible. And if you find variations between them, differences between them, then you have proven that they're not identical.
So which version you are checking?
So we've checked the Hafs, the Ibn Ammar, the Duri, the Kalun, the Wash.
I mean, it's written in which language?
It's written in Arabic.
You have a qualification in Arabic.
You what?
You have a qualification in Arabic.
I don't have a qualification in Arabic. I'm leaning on other people's research. I'm leaning on other people's research. However, one second. I'm sorry. You weren't here at the beginning. We have on camera people who can read the Arabic saying that there are differences between the sects.
It's not enough. I am Arabic speaker.
He did. You were here. Why are you pretending?
It's not enough.
I thought your
Arabic
spelling is the same.
But
I thought your spelling is the
Don't
same.
touch me.
Yes
I'm
or
not
no?
touching you.
Okay, I
it's
thought
not
your
enough to
spelling is
speak
the same.
Arabic to pretend
The pronouns, the vowel is the pronoun.
And I myself went and checked this with Arabic
for
speakers.
20 years, my friend.
I'm sorry.
It's not enough to.
I don't believe in Arabization. God can speak to me in my own language. If God, just because you want to Arabize and give up your own cultures and start imitating the Arabs and worshipping in Arabic and reading an Arabic book and bowing down to an Arab city and copying a 7th century Arab, I don't have to do that.
Wait. But
If you're right, do what you want, my friend. But in the end, they are your beliefs.
No,
which
these
are
are facts.
Which are not like.
These are facts. You're saying that there's no difference between the Hafs and the Wash. Is there a difference between the Hafs and the Wash?
I'm not saying. I'm just
saying you're trying to say I'm wrong.
No, I'm not. This is what you try to do. I'm not trying to do this. I'm trying just to check your methodology.
So
which
let me.
is wrong.
No. My methodology is fine because if the hypothesis is true that every Quran is the same and they're all identical, then no variations should be found. But if they are found, then the hypothesis is false. So we have to change the hypothesis to say something along the lines of all Qurans are closely matching, but not quite. And that would be more accurate.
Not because you are talking a lot, you have the impression that you are right. First thing.
But it's well known in the Islamic culture that there's different.
Let us brother finish his point, and then you can jump in.
I'm just want to ask you some questions about your qualifications to have the legitimacy to talk about some topics. It's not enough to come here and to talk. You know?
This has never stopped the Islamic Dawah team. No. Have you got qualifications to talk about the Bible? Never stopped a Muslim. It's never stopped a Muslim.
No. I have qualifications, but in other fields, not in religion.
I have a degree.
In religion, I have a degree in religion,
by the way, just to let you know. I have
well.
got a degree in religion. I've got a degree in religion. It's called religious studies.
I got a degree.
I've got a degree in
Do you
religion.
speak Arabic?
So who's more qualified to talk about religion right now, me or you? You just said you can't talk about things you aren't qualified for. Are you qualified to study religion?
Can I talk? You cannot speak about Islam.
Are you consistent to your own principle?
Can I speak?
Hold on. You've established a principle you're not being consistent to.
My friend,
you just said you can't speak about something without the right qualifications. Well, I have a qualification in religious studies. Do you have a qualification in religious studies? Do you? What's your qualification in?
Can I answer the question?
Answer my question then.
Yeah. I don't have qualification on religion.
Thank you. So you're not consistent.
No, I'm not here to give lessons. I'm just focusing on your wrong methodology. First, you don't have qualification. You don't speak the language of this religion you are criticizing. You don't speak its language, so you don't have legitimacy to say anything about it.
So let's just test.
No, wait. If you want to take things seriously, yeah. I am open-minded, so I'm open to criticize for anything. But you have to take things seriously, my friend. Go start learn Arabic, and then you can criticize the language.
So hold on one second. Are you an Arabic speaker?
Yes.
Okay. And have you studied the variations of the Quran?
No.
So how do you know that there are no variations?
Did I say this?
Yes.
Did I say this?
You implied this?
No, I didn't say this.
Okay, so you're saying that there might be variations.
I'm just focusing. You're wrong.
So are you saying that there might be variations?
Why not?
Okay, thank you. Now, have you looked? Answer me this simple question: If all the Qurans are the same and they are all identical, why is there discussion of Hafs text, Warsh text, and Duri text? Thank you.
Do the research yourself, brother.
Maybe you can answer this question.
I'm not
If all
pretending.
Qurans are the
I'm
same
not pretending to be
and they are
expert in
all
relation-
identical, explain to me why there is discussion in the Muslim world about Hafs text, Warsh text, and Duri text.
Why is it?
What?
Something
Thank you.
seriously.
And that's the answer.
Language. I am at
That is the
university.
only honest answer.
But the thing is, it's not really like a hidden thing in Islamic culture. People don't say there isn't these difference in recitations. Like in mosques, the different recitations are recited.
Thank you.
People know that.
So we are talking about different Qurans.
You can't really call it a different Quran.
Brother, the only reason why this is a problem is because Muslims have made the argument for decades now. Except at Speaker's Corner, where people like Mansour have admitted are on record about textual variations in the Quran. In the way that you have, very honestly, and it's a credit to you. It's a credit to you, yeah? Except in places like this, where Muslims have been forced to engage with the evidence, there are many Muslims going around the UK and other places saying all the Qurans are the same. Oh wait, sorry, the mafia is here now to tell everyone to say the right thing.
I'm speaking corner.
I know you're part of the Dawah team.
No, I'm not. You're lying. You're lying to me.
You're part of the Dawah
I swear
team.
to you, God, you're lying to me. I'm not with no one. The 10 Qiraat, brother, is only about how the people can pronounce easily. Recitation. Okay? For example,
Let me address this point.
If someone can say Maliki and say Maliki is no problem. That's what means the Qiraat. He wants to say to you, no, Qiraat is something different, is corrupted, or I don't know what he wants to come
Can you
to.
show me an example of this different...
So let me just address this point. He's trying to say that it's just about the recitation. Okay? However, have the recitations been codified?
I don't know what you mean.
Okay, you don't know what I mean. Let me explain. Have the recitations been written down?
Yeah, they're written down.
So we are talking about different texts then?
Why are you talking about different texts? It's not different
No, you've
text.
just said it's about different
I thought
recitations. Now talking about manuscripts and we're talking about texts.
Mate, it's just like English and American, Canadian, Australian. It's different accent, but you understand each other.
Yeah, the meaning,
Same thing.
the overall meaning is exactly the same.
It's that right. English, American, you understand each other, don't you?
I thought the Quran was a preserved book.
It's preserved.
So it's preserved and changed at the same time.
No, the accent. The accent.
Yeah,
The accent.
Change
The
These
accent.
changes.
It doesn't change the meaning.
It does have localized impact on the meaning.
It's the word yakribuna and you can
I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example.
You need to go to...
I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. Lenin, we can have a debate.
No, ha! I
Let's
love
debate
that.
Lenin.
Guess what?
Come on, Lenin.
We gonna no.
This
Listen
guy
to
promised
me.
me £500
Listen
for
to
debating
me.
for 10 minutes. I'm holding you to that.
Sort of a fight.
So
No,
10
no.
minutes,
No,
£500.
No,
That's what you said.
No. I'll give you £1,000.
£1,000.
Listen to me, £1,000.
Yeah.
You and your friends, your man in your group, the one in America, go and Smith, Quran. How many variants are there? How many Qurans are there? I want you to give a copy. You have one.
According to Muslims.
No. You have to bring the
According to
copies.
Muslim sources, we have before. Hatun and DCCI brought down 31 different Qurans to Speaker's Corner.
Guess what?
Lenin
Okay,
says
guess what? Okay.
that we have to
Guess what?
bring
He said
the
that-
copies.
There's only 10
The
recitations.
Christians have brought the copies, and the Muslims
There's
still
only 10.
reject
There's
it.
only 10 recitations.
The fact of the matter is that no matter what
You
level,
hear what he said?
no matter what
Did you hear what he
standard
said?
of evidence,
Look, he said what he
Lenin,
said.
calm down for a second. Calm down, Lenin. Calm down, Lenin. Calm down. Lenin, calm down. No matter what standard of evidence is demanded by the likes of Lenin and the Islamic Dawah team, the Christians have met those standards of evidence. And at every turn, the Muslims have just elevated the bar. They said to us, we don't believe you until you show us the variants. So then we showed you the variants, and then they said, no, we want to see the books. So then we brought them the books, and then they said, you've shown us the books, but we don't agree that until you can speak Arabic. So we are now getting Arabic speakers to check what we're saying. I've checked this with an Arabic speaker. I've checked it here on camera with people who can read Arabic. And I'm getting mixed information, to be fair, but the Arabic speaker I spoke to is quite clear there are textual variants between these Qurans. We're not making it up. The Muslims just keep moving the goalposts.
Look. We want to. Okay, hold on. I challenge you. No.
My my personal heckler's back.
This is a challenge.
He was here last week.
This is a challenge. Look, I've got a friend of mine. Look, a shopkeeper.
I am the church.
Pakistani man. Shop.
Did you see
£5,000 he's going to give you. 5,000. Listen to me. Listen.
He's up in the game.
He said Atul came here or Liz or J. Smith. How many Qurans? 27, 31?
I think
bring them here. We analyze it.
They did. In the debate with Mansour.
Look,
they did with the debate in Mansour.
Look,
so once again,
£5,000.
he promised me.
Keep that one.
So
it's easy.
So
Liz will be here next
calm
week.
down, Lenin. Calm down, Lenin.
No. You've been talking. Give me a chance. I know you.
Calm down.
I'm loud.
Carry on. Go on.
This is a challenge for you. Everyone is here.
Go on, Lenin.
Atul is going to come today or next week or Liz. Ask them to print the 27 or 31 copies of the Quran. We analyze it.
Okay, can I reply?
Guess what?
Can I reply?
Guess what?
Can I
By the
reply?
time you finish, you never come back here.
Can I reply? Can I reply? He did say that 2 weeks ago. He said I'd never come back, but here I am. You know.
No.
So my point is.
What did I say to you?
My point is, Lenin, calm down.
Stop lying. No,
Calm down, Lenin. Calming down.
No.
Lenin, we know you get excited, mate. We know you get excited. Calm down.
Well, you get excited here.
Now, Lenin did promise me. Lenin did promise me the last time he tried to debate with me. He offered me like hundreds of pounds. I said 500. I might be wrong. It might be less. He promised me hundreds of pounds if I debated him for 10 minutes. I hope he's going to keep his word now when we've debated for an hour to give me my 300 pounds. Anyway, so in answer
What is the evidence?
In answer to his question. In answer to his question.
What is the evidence?
In answer to his question was, why didn't they bring the books? Go and look up DCCI with J. Smith. They brought all the books. They showed it was 27 Qurans, and then they came back later with 31 different Qurans. Then he said, when did they analyze them? When did they analyze them? They analyzed them in debate. Hatun had a debate at Speaker's Corner with Mansour where they went through the evidence. So every time they demand of us a bar of evidence, we meet their bar of evidence, but then they change the bar of evidence after we meet it. The reason being is because they will never be satisfied. They will never be satisfied to deal with the facts or the evidence. So let me ask you this question. Is this a difference?
Look. When you finish talking, talk. I don't want you to dominate. You talk, talk.
You
I
talk,
want
Lenin,
to talk.
and then I'll
You
ask
ask me to keep quiet.
You talk, Lenin, and then I'll ask you.
Look. When Jay brought those, it's all YouTube. When he brought the Qur'ans, those copies, did you analyze? Was it analyzed? He wouldn't let anyone touch the Qur'ans. Did anybody touch it? Jay was running me like a wimp. Run away with me. I came here for a year.
Why are you shouting?
Not shouting.
I'm right here,
No, you be shouting. You be shouting.
Shouting to those
You
people.
shout every week, man.
You're shouting. You're shouting.
No, you shout every week. Shut up. No, let me talk.
It's a fair
You
point.
don't talk here. I'm not shouting. Let me
Carry
talk.
on, Lenin. You're right.
He panics.
Carry on.
Let me talk. That's the thing. Yeah. Jay is all on YouTube. So why do you lie?
Okay.
Jay wouldn't. When I came here for 2 years, Jay was lagging. My plan was to come. Look. I've been preparing for 8 years for Jay.
No, he
when
wasn't.
I came. Only
Why
YouTube.
are you lying?
It's only.
There's plenty of video
Look,
evidence.
Kalam. Look.
Sitting here,
If Kalam is there all the time, Kalam will be
to debate.
Look,
week
Kalam will
after
be the
week
evidence.
after week.
Kalam will be the
And
evidence.
Lenin.
now,
you.
Bob, I thought he was behaving himself.
I thought he was. It's the coffee and the Weetabix, mate.
You see the tactics?
Okay.
You see the tactics? Yeah. The tactics. You're not going to win.
Lenin.
You see the tactics?
Lenin.
Look.
In Surah 3, Ayah 79, in the Hafs version,
You see.
I want to ask you,
That's what you know.
is it a textual variant? So let me ask you, Lenin,
No.
in the Hafs version it says,
Let me finish.
it is not for any human being
We're going to
to
debate.
whom Allah has
We have
given the
rules.
book and
have
al-hukmah
rules.
and
Talk
prophethood
about the
to
Quran,
say
the Bible's here.
to the
You run
people
away.
be my worshippers rather than Allah's. On the contrary, you, Rabbayun, because you are teaching the book and you are studying it. Now, in the Yaqub version of the Quran, Surah 3, Ayah 79, it says, "It is not for any human being to whom Allah has given the book and al-hukmah, and prophethood, to say to the people, be my worshippers rather than Allah's. On the contrary, be you Rabbayun, because you know the book." Now, tell me, in the Quran, the true Quran, is the word you teach or is the word you know?
What are you talking about?
Of course,
I'm
you weren't
talking
paying
about a
attention.
textual.
What are you talking
paying
about?
attention.
You weren't paying attention. Pay attention to the man.
No.
Come on.
No,
So he didn't.
On point,
he didn't
brother.
pay attention.
Listen to me.
I've been another 5 minutes.
No. What are we
So let
debating
me
about?
ask him again.
What are we debating about?
Let me ask. Are you paying
What are we
attention now,
debating
Lenin?
Disrespectful, man.
Look.
Lenin,
He's talking to you now.
Lenin,
Pay attention.
are you paying attention?
Look,
Are
listen.
you paying attention?
Listen to me.
I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to answer the
Look,
question.
your strategy can't work with me.
Lenin,
You can't work with
Lenin.
me. You can't work with other people here.
Listen to the
Sorry,
surah.
you can't work with me. You can't work with other people.
I'll take that was an
You
accident.
cannot work with
I
me.
understand that was
If you
an
want to
accident.
debate, let's pick up a topic.
Okay.
Good debate. Don't you
Shut
ask
up.
it. I can ask you.
Lenin,
Look, I can ask
Lenin.
you questions from the Bible.
Lenin,
You fail
calm down.
miserably.
Okay.
Let's take a
Does
topic.
anyone else want to hear my question?
He doesn't want to debate.
Put your hand up if you'd like to hear
Let's
the
debate.
question. Anyone want to hear the question? Thank you.
Yeah.
People
Listen
want
to
to
the
hear the
surah. Listen
question.
to the surah, brother.
debate.
He's gonna read it.
Calm down.
Listen.
He can read it.
Let me ask you the question.
Listen.
Thank you. So, I'm going to ask you. So,
What question?
in the Hafs version of the Quran, it says, "It is not for any human being to whom Allah has given the book and al-hukmah and prophethood to say to the people, be my worshippers
It's a waste
rather
of
than
time.
Allah.
You don't-
On the contrary, be you Rabbayun, because you are teaching the book and you're studying it." That's the Hafs version. Now, in the Yaqub version, it says, "Is it not for any human being to whom Allah has given the book and al-hukmah and the prophethood to say to the people, be my worshippers rather than Allah's? On the contrary, be you Rabbayun, because you know the book and you're studying it." So you're saying all Qurans are the same. So tell me, is the word to you teach or you know? You don't know what I'm talking about.
Second
I'm
time now.
talking
You don't know.
about
You're not paying
textual
attention,
variants
Conan.
in the Quran.
تعالوا إلى كلمة سواء بينهم.
Are you going to answer my question?
You don't even know what you're
Are you
reading.
going to answer my
You
question?
don't know what you're reading. If you want to
Well,
debate, let's pick
we've
up a
got the
topic.
Arabic here.
Let's pick a
We've got the
topic
Arabic
and
here.
debate.
Tell me the word in
What you are
Arabic.
picking.
Tell me the word in Arabic.
In the red.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm going to Arabic. Hold on.
Same spelling. The vowels they come after the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The dots they come after. The Prophet
Thank you
Muhammad
for
sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
admitting the vowels came after the
Same
revelation,
spelling, same
which
word,
means
same
that the
word,
text of the
same
Quran
word,
went through a
same
historical
word.
process.
Instead in your Bible,
If
is
I
one
add
chapter,
vowels
in
to a
chapter,
word, are they
chapter,
still the
you
same
from
word?
Skip it, take
No.
and put
It's a
another chapter.
textual addition.
Not diverting, not
Yes,
diverting.
you just said it.
No.
You just said it.
Yeah, you want to
If the
want to
vowels
no.
were added afterwards,
Calm down.
what if the vowels are added afterwards?
Look,
Why are you shouting?
We're going to debate.
Why are you shouting?
We're going to debate.
Are you going to answer my question?
The Quran
Do you
or the Bible.
see,
Which one is the word of
ladies
God?
and gentlemen,
No.
how the Islamic Dawah team don't want to answer tough questions about their own holy book? And yet they come to Speaker's Corner all the time demanding that every Christian should be a scholar in our book.
Let's debate.
But when the tables are turned on them, suddenly they don't want to do it. Suddenly
The
they don't want to
Quran or the
engage.
Bible. Which was the word of God? Let's debate.
I answered you, Lamin.
Let's debate.
I asked you a simple
Which
question,
was the
Lamin.
Bible?
Lamin,
Here.
Lamin,
Here. I
Lamin,
won't even open it.
you're
Let's debate.
shouting.
You are
I
shouting.
asked you a question.
Quran
You
or the
didn't want
Bible?
to answer
No
it.
question. Let's debate.
So let me
No
ask
question.
someone
Let's
else.
debate. Let's
Let
debate.
someone else answer
The
this question.
Quran or the Bible? Which one word of God?
Which one is the correct Quran?
Half an hour each.
The Hafs
He doesn't know
version
the Bible.
or the
He doesn't
Yaqub
know the Bible.
version?
I'm going to expose him.
The Hafs version
Let's debate.
says you are teaching.
Let's debate.
The Yaqub version says you know. So were they teaching or did they know? These are different words. Muslims claim that every Quran is the same. Muslims say every Quran is identical. And yet, when they are confronted with evidence that contradicts these claims, this is how they behave. This is how they behave.
Which one's the word of God? Listen to what he's got to say.
Let's debate. I want to debate.
So, diverting again.
I offered you a debate 10 minutes ago. You just ignored me and started shouting. Okay, Lenin. Lenin wants to debate me. I'm going to ask him a question so we can debate.
Ask him a question.
I'm going to ask him a question. Oh, he doesn't want to debate me now. He doesn't want to debate me now. Let me ask you a question. You want to debate me?
Got it, Google out.
Get out of my...
Google.
Allah hates you right now. Allah hates you right now. You have no manners.
Got it, Google.
Allah hates you right now.
Got it, Google.
Brilliant.
Allah hates you right now.
Lenin wanted to debate me. So let me ask him a question. Lenin. Lenin. Oh my gosh. Dude. Lenin, you've been shouting for 10 minutes you want to debate me. Now let me ask you a question. Lenin, I'm going to ask you a question. Lenin, don't run. Don't run, Lenin. You wanted to debate me. Lenin, now he doesn't want to shout. Lenin, you've just been shouting for 10 minutes you want to debate me.
We go running like a
So let me ask you.
chicken-hearted lily liver.
I'm asking you. Lenin, Lenin, do you see how he's avoiding the debate? Do you see?
You want to ask a question? What question?
Lenin, let me ask you this question.
What question?
You're not a professional, brother.
You made me like a word man.
Lenin, why are you running?
Like Ishmael.
Lenin,
My name is Google me out.
No, you behave like Ishmael.
Lenin, okay, guys, here's the question that I wanted to ask Lenin. He's been avoiding me. I made a genuine effort to ask Lenin a question, and he didn't want to answer my question. So I will ask the question to everyone else. Okay.
Ask somebody else.
In Surah 3, Ayah 28, in the Hafs version, it says, do they seek other than the religion of Allah, while to him submit all creatures in the heavens and the earth, willingly or unwillingly, and to him shall they be returned. That's the Hafs version of the Quran. But in the Kalaf al-Ashar al-Dura version of the Quran, it reads,
I'm going to educate you.
do you seek other than the religion of Allah? So the Hafs version reads, do they seek other than the religion of Allah? But the Duri version reads, do you seek? That's the difference. The religion of Allah. Continue with the Duri version.
Not a Tom and
While
Jerry
him
show.
submitted all creatures in the heavens and the earth, willingly or unwillingly, and to him you shall be returned. The Hafs version has, shall they all be returned? So my question to you, Lenin, my question to you, Lenin, is which version of the Quran do you believe in?
He doesn't know. He doesn't know.
Which version?
He doesn't know. He hasn't a clue.
He wasn't listening again.
He hasn't a clue.
Which version?
He has no idea. Come on. Do the research. Come on.
Look at it. Speaker, Lenin. Answer the question.
They're all scared. Gary Google is here. Jason here. Jason ran away. Gary Google ran away.
You see how he's saying everyone's running away? Lenin, right next to you. Gary is stood right next to you. Jason is stood right next to you. No one is running except you.
Wait.
You're the only one.
Listen. You're shouting.
So
I'll debate with you half an hour.
Right.
Take your time. I'm ready.
I've been here for half an hour. You could have debated for half an hour. So, Lenin.
You are asking questions.
Right, Lenin, hold on. Lenin,
Yes,
Lenin.
Pick up a topic and debate. Don't ask me the question. I can ask you thousands of questions. In
Hold on, Lenny.
because in your Bible. Have you read the Bible? Have you read the Bible? Have you read the Bible? Wait. Have you read the Bible? Wait. Let me ask you. Let me ask you.
Yes, I read the Bible.
Wait. Let me ask you.
Now I've answered one of
Let me
your
ask you.
questions. You answer one of mine.
If you answer this, if you tell me about, hold on.
If I answer one of his questions, he should answer one of mine. Is that fair? Okay. So he asked me, have I read the Bible? I answered yes. Now it's my turn to answer. Ask Lenin a question. So no, you asked the question. Let me ask the question. Can I? No, you've asked the question.
No, he's scared.
Okay.
He's scared.
You talk.
You're scared of the Bible.
You talk.
You can attack it.
Nobody thinks of what.
He's scared. I know.
Show some manners.
Wait. You've read it.
Because Allah hates you right now.
Wait.
Show some manners. Show some manners.
I'll ask you a question. Now, do you believe that Jesus is God incarnate? Yeah. Listen to this. Yes. Could you show us a verse in the Bible why Jesus said he is God, he shall worship me? So that's why. Why he said God.
Now calm down. Now are you prepared to listen to this now?
If I sound
Now are you prepared to listen? Listen very carefully. Right. Relax.
Why you trolling? Why you are trolling? Stop trolling.
I'm not familiar with my Bible.
You stop trolling.
Google. Okay.
You're trolling. I'll debate with you.
Guys, stop letting Lenin escape. Okay, guys. Everyone has heard Lenin ask me a question. I'm going to answer that question, and then I want Lenin to answer one of my questions.
I'm going to leave you to Lenny.
But just for the record, Lenin is on camera promising me £300 if I debated him for 10 minutes. He owes me 300 quid. He owes me 300 quid. He owes me 300 quid.
Let's go. You want to go to church?
I want £300.
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
So, we will. Hold on. Lenin said, where did Jesus call himself God and say, worship me? Okay, so I'm going to show you where he called himself God. One who is God does not need to say, worship me. No. You should all worship the Creator. True. According to the Quran... No, I'm answering your question. Be quiet now. I'm answering your question. According to the Quran, Allah says in the Quran that he is the light of the world and the heavens.
Listen to this.
Jesus says in John chapter 8, I am the light of the world. According to the Quran, Allah is the light of the world.
Hold on.
According to Jesus, Jesus is the light of the world. Jesus calls himself God. Worship him.
Where is it?
Now, it's my turn to ask you a question. My turn to ask you a question. Oh no! I want to ask him a question now.
You didn't answer it. No, wait.
I did.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
Did Jesus say God worship me? No.
You didn't answer.
Jesus said worship the Lord
I
your
am the
God
light,
and only him.
So, now you've asked me a question.
Gospel of Matthew chapter
Now
4,
you've asked me a
verse number
question.
10. Worship the Lord
Do
your
you
God.
notice he doesn't want to answer the question? You promised me.
No, you see that he failed
You
miserably.
promised me.
You failed miserably.
You promised me.
I bet it.
No,
You
okay,
failed
go.
miserably.
He's answered your question.
I've
answered your
He
question.
failed miserably. He couldn't show. No, he couldn't show it.
So-
He couldn't. Come on, he couldn't. Even
My
the
turn.
Bible, he couldn't.
Lenin.
So he felt miserable.
Lenin, let me ask you a
Everybody
question.
agree with that?
Very bad.
He cannot show me a
Lenin.
verse.
Very
in the
bad.
Bible why he said
Lenin.
God. Very bad.
His face, yes.
Lenin, let me ask you a question.
You felt miserable.
Lenny, let me ask you a question. Okay, let me ask you a question, Lenny.
Go ahead.
Okay, and you're going to answer this one now. You're not going to run from it. Okay?
Because it is spirit in them, they cannot stop it. But Jesus Christ,
Okay,
Make sure
let me answer this question. In the Hafs version of the Quran, in Surah 3, Ayah 146, it reads, and how many a prophet has fought with whom were many worshippers of the Lord, so they did not become weak-hearted on account of what befell them in Allah's way. In the Susi version of the Quran, it reads, and how many a prophet with him were killed? Many religious scholars. So, answer me this question, Lenin. Which Quran do you believe in? Which one is the right one? The Hafs version, which says has fought, or the Susi, which says were killed. So were killed and fought are the same according to Lenin. Is there anyone else who agrees with that? No. Brother, you said I was talking shit. So, is fought and killed the same?
What's it originally written in?
Arabic.
So what is the Arabic word that we're trying to translate in the other language?
Katala and Kutila.
So does anyone else speak that language? Do you speak that language? Hang on. Do you speak that language?
No.
Are you translating it?
No. Scholars have.
So you're talking
Scholars
shit.
who can read
And I'll tell you why
Arabic.
you're talking shit.
So you're not answering the question.
To answer you, I'm going to give an answer. I'll tell everyone why you talk shit. Unless you're translating that word and you have the knowledge to translate it, you're going to have to rely on trusting somebody else.
You mean like you do?
What's the problem?
Yes.
What's the problem?
You mean like you do? Yeah. So there's no problem with it, is there?
Can I finish my
No
answer?
problem.
Can I finish my answer? But I'm not out here comparing words, saying I'm right and I'm wrong. I'm challenging you what you're saying. You say I'm talking shit. I'm telling everyone else why you're talking shit. You need to find a person that speaks that language.
I have.
They can translate that word.
I have.
And then once you've got that, you need to then talk to people who have the qualifications to give tafsir on the Quran.
Tafsir is not the Quran.
Tafsir are the commentators. This is how it is. If you're going to go to someone and criticize what they're translating, you have to first understand why they're translating it like that for you to criticize it. So if you don't understand, if you don't know, if you can't take the time out to learn how they're translating,
Do you know Arabic?
I'm answering a question, I'm not going to be sidetracked. If you don't know how to approach people and find out their way of the words they're translating, that's why you're talking shit.
In other words, do it my way. So in other words, this is the double standard. Yes, this is the double standard. They say to us that if we go to scholars to translate the Arabic, it's wrong. But Muslims who can't read Arabic do exactly the same. So it's wrong when we do it, but it's okay when they do it. Lenin, I asked you a question. Coming back to the question. My question to you, are you going to answer my question?
Let me tell this.
Are you going to answer my question?
The Quran isn't allowed. Let me see.
Are you going to answer my question?
Let me tell you, two non-Muslim scholars
Are you
who have
going to
read the
answer my question?
Quran scholars, what they said about the Quran. They've read the Quran.
Are you going
They've
to
studied
answer
it.
my question?
You haven't studied the Quran. It's in
So,
Arabic.
he's not answering my question.
You don't know anything. You come here. You attack.
He's not answering my question.
He's asking you a question, bro.
The question, Lenin, the question that I asked you, Lenin, the question that I asked you was a simple one. The simple question I asked you is, which one is the right version of the Quran? The one that says has fought, or the one that says were killed? They're not the same. Is has fought the same as were killed?
Listen, can you tell the difference between qatala wa qutila?
Is were fought and
can you say the difference between qatala wa qutila?
Has fought and were
You
killed?
don't understand the Arabic word.
Are they the same?
So how could you criticize something you
Are
don't
they
know?
the same? Are they the same?
No.
Yeah, they are the same.
They are the same.
Because I can fight with him and I can fight with him, you know?
One is saying were killed, not fought.
Of course, if I fight with him, I may get killed, no?
Not necessarily. May.
Yes.
One is the definitive and one isn't.
When I get engaged in a war,
These are two different
I'm with
actions.
him, but I can get killed
They
too.
are two
But I can
different
kill
verbs. We have a difference in the verbs. One verb is saying has fought.
No problem.
One verb is saying were killed. They are not the same verb.
Where in the English dictionary is only 600,000.
So,
He doesn't understand, doesn't it?
no.
No, it doesn't.
Why is this a problem? Let's be clear why this is a problem. It is a problem because Muslims believe fundamentally that the Quran has suffered zero change. Zero. The evidence contradicts this claim. The evidence contradicts this claim. And I am presenting this evidence now. Now, why is this important?
Since you know,
Why is it important?
How many ways you can recite the Quran?
1 second. Why is this important? Why is this
How many
important?
ways can you recite
I will
the Quran?
answer that question. I will answer that question. Why is this important? If the Quran has suffered change, according to Islamic belief, it is no longer trustworthy. If the evidence is contradicting Islamic belief, then it is logical and fair to say that Islamic beliefs are not true, and that those who are following that belief are following something that is false. If your beliefs are contradicted by the evidence, change them. Christians did this over the subject of evolution. If your evidence contradicts your beliefs, you have to go with the evidence. Now, in answer to your question, there are more than 7 different ways to recite the Quran. More than 7. Now let me ask you a question. How many of those different recitations have been codified?
No, it's not.
Answer the question.
No.
How many?
Listen, you know, when you recite the Quran, it's because for different tribes, the way they recite it. Because, if, for example, the English of the English people is not like the English of the Scottish people, right? When you hear it, when you hear some Scottish guy talking English, it's not like an English guy, right?
There are different words.
Yes.
That man, a different pronunciation, but the same thing.
What does body mean? So Scott, we're using this example. What does bonny mean? Bonny. Right, as someone who's got Scottish heritage, let me tell you what bonny means. Bonny is Gaelic Scottish or Gaelic English for little. Bonny doesn't exist in English as a word. It's an import. So what you're saying then, if you're using this example, is that non-Arabic words were imported into the Quran to accommodate the differences in language.
What do you mean by that?
You have used the example of differences between English and Scottish.
I'm just saying, pronunciation.
They're not. I gave you. Hold on. I gave you.
Sorry.
This is not a difference in pronunciation. The example that I've given you is a difference in the word. It's in the word. Now, this is not a problem.
Which one do you believe in?
It is not a problem.
Which one? All of them. All of them.
I think so, yes.
All of them.
I don't know what that one is. I don't know what that one is.
You believe in that? You believe? Yeah. Hold on. You believe all of them?
Yeah, I would accept all of those translations. So,
John 3:16 is here. They took it out here. Why?
Yeah, I will explain that.
Yeah.
I will explain that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go.
So,
why? John 3:16 is here.
I'm going to address his question.
Hold on.
I'm going to address his
God so loved the
question.
world that he gave his only begotten son.
May I answer that question?
Yeah, it's here. They took it out. You know why they took it out?
Oh, he's going to answer the question. Sorry.
Answer it.
Oh, do you want me to answer the question now?
Answer it.
Okay. Now, please note, everyone, that when I asked Lenin a question about variations in the Quran, he didn't want to answer the question.
There's no variation.
And he ignored me.
I said there's no variation.
And he just blabbered on to everyone around him.
It's a variation.
And he didn't answer the question.
No.
But now let me answer the question that he's asking me.
Yeah.
Why are there variations between different Bible translations? The reason is because Christians have discovered within our ancient manuscripts variations in the ancient manuscripts. And we are honestly admitting to those variations in the text as we translate them. Where it is taken out in one translation, there's most likely a footnote highlighting the fact that it has been taken out. Let me finish, Lenin. Let me finish. However, there is a difference here, a fundamental difference that cuts right to the heart of this debate. Christians do not make the same claims about our Bible that Muslims make about their Quran.
We do not claim that the Bible is literally the Word of God.
Okay.
Nor do we claim that it is perfectly preserved.
Okay.
Muslims, by contrast,
what he said in his statement the first time,
by contrast,
if something is not correct,
by contrast,
it's not worth
Muslims
following.
claim.
That's what he
It's
said.
not worth
Notice
believing.
they're interrupting me now. Notice they're interrupting. By contrast, Muslims claim that every Quran is identical and the same around the world, and that it is been perfectly preserved. So our beliefs are supported by the evidence. Their beliefs are contradicted by the evidence. Which do you want to believe in?
Listen to me. You said about why do you believe in the Bible that it has been corrupted? It has been changed. Why do you do that? Let me read here. 32 scholars. Let me read it. You lied. 32 scholars for high eminence. Let me read it. Here they said they're talking about the King James version here. Yet he said we owe it to an incalculable debt. Yet the King James version has grave defects.
Amazing.
Grave.
I know.
I
agree.
You believe in it?
I agree.
As the word of God, grave defects. Let me finish. Wait.
So
let me finish.
Lenin.
This is
Lenin.
No. Christian scholars. Let me finish.
Lenin.
Let me finish. Are you scared?
Lenin. No, not at all.
It's your Bible.
I've just agreed with what the scholars have said.
No. It's got grave defects.
You're saying, should I be surprised?
You believe in that?
Yes, of course.
And you follow the Bible. It's the word of God.
I believe.
And what did God say?
What did
God say by himself? It's the word of God.
What did God
the
say about
grass
himself?
With the rest,
God
the
said
flowers.
he is the light of the world.
No, the grass.
That's what God said.
Listen to me.
What does the Quran say is the light of the world? Allah. So Jesus called himself God.
But the word of God shall not change.
Yes.
It shall remain forever.
So
God said in the Bible.
So
great defects, you follow it.
I believe it, yes.
And you follow it.
Yes.
And it's the word of God.
Yes.
And it's got defects. Thank you. Close.
He says case closed. His argument is based upon a straw man.
He doesn't believe in the Bible.
His argument only works
so that
as
come
a
here,
Christian,
you read your Bible,
that the Bible is literally the Word of God, and I do not make that claim. When I invite Muslims to Christianity, I am not inviting them to something like Islam. I'm inviting them to something different. Let me just quote a biblical scholar about textual variations in the Bible. Lenin likes to quote Bart Ehrman. Let me just quote Bart Ehrman to Lenin. This is what a textual scholar says, Lenin. Are you listening?
He's listening. He's busy, but he's listening.
I'm just listening.
So for the publication...
He's a multitasker.
Are you listening now?
I'm listening.
So for the publication of misquoting Jesus, the publishing company did an interview with Bart Ehrman. The question that they asked him is, why do you believe these core tenets of Christian orthodoxy to be in jeopardy based upon scribal errors you discovered in biblical manuscripts? Bart Ehrman's reply was this. Are you listening, Lenin? Are you paying attention? Essential Christian beliefs are not affected by textual variants in the manuscript edition of the New Testament. Christianity existed before the New Testament. When Paul was writing to the Romans, he was writing to a Christian community that existed before he wrote the letter to the Romans. So the church had its beliefs before the New Testament was written. So the question is not whether there are textual variants. The question is, do those textual variants corrupt essential Christian doctrine? And the scholar, Bart Ehrman, agreeing with his teacher, the scholar, Bruce Metzger, both agree that no Christian doctrine of essential nature is affected by textual variants. Now let me ask you this.
Let
me ask you this.
He
doesn't want to
You're not
answer
making
the
sense.
You said
He
the Bible
doesn't
has
want
got
to.
defects.
Notice, I want to ask him a question, and he doesn't want to answer.
Just talk. You like lecturing.
Notice how the Islamic Dawah team operates. Notice how they operate. I answer this question.
He said the Bible has got defects.
I answer
He
this
believes in the defects.
question.
God said he shouldn't change or add into his his word. He believes in the finished.
I am asking Lenin a question, and now suddenly he doesn't want to answer. He suddenly doesn't want to answer. Do you see?
No,
he doesn't want to answer the
we
question.
believe in it. You don't believe in your Bible.
What you saying is
No, I'm going to answer. Ask Lenin a question. No, I'm asking
You
Lenin
can't
a
ask, you
question.
finished. You can't ask, you finished.
I can ask you a question.
You finished.
I can ask you a question. Lenin, I've given you examples. Lenin, on camera.
Believe in the Bible.
Do you notice how he doesn't want to answer the question? It's finished. So, do you want to hear the question I want to ask, Lenin?
You're done.
I believe in
Speak
mine.
up. Do you want to hear me ask
No
this man a
defects.
question?
You believe in yours.
Right, okay. Are you going to let me ask you a question?
Go ahead.
He's good at that, you know.
Are you going to let me ask you a question?
Of course, you can ask me.
Thank you. So, I have given you multiple examples of textual variants in the Quran. Do you still believe that all Qurans are identical? Dude, this was such a simple question. All you have to do is say yes or no.
Cartoon, baloney, this poppycock.
You're embarrassing yourself now, Lenin.
No, you embarrass yourself.
You're embarrassing yourself.
We believe in the Quran.
Lenin.
No defects.
Which Quran?
You believe your Bible has no
Which
defects.
Quran? Which Quran do you believe in? The Hafs, the Wash, the Duri. Which one?
You said you believe
Which do you believe in? The Hafs, the Wash, the Duri.
Those are different recitations.
That's why you contradict yourself now.
Which
In the
one
all
do
the
you
Bibles.
believe in?
In the Bible. Look, you know what?
Answer my question,
I
Lenin.
want to debate. You know why? Last time I wanted to
Do you
debate.
see, he keeps saying I want to debate.
But you don't want to debate.
Then he asks
no.
me a
We want
question,
asking questions.
and I answer the question.
What I want. 10
But
minutes.
then
is
when I
happening.
ask him a question,
We are living.
he just talks and doesn't answer the question.
You don't make sense.
That's not a debate.
You don't make sense.
So,
You don't know.
I will ask you a question again.
Again, another question, yes.
Let's debate.
Which debate?
Last time you can debate. 10 minutes, 6, half an hour each. You believe Jesus is God. We
So,
believe Jesus is a prophet.
Lenin,
Forget about that.
Lenin,
Tawheed.
Lenin,
We
you
believe God is
owe
only one
me
God. Let's debate.
£300. I've debated you for
300
an hour.
pounds. Somebody,
You
let's
owe
go.
me money.
Look, want this money for the church.
Yeah,
Let's
£300 is
one
what
pound
you
each.
promised me.
They need money for the
I
church.
think
Each
you owe
church.
it. So,
The church needs some money.
which one do you
You want
believe
1
in?
pound each.
Do you believe in the Hafs
Go by the
version?
church and
Do
look,
you
look.
believe in the
It's not
Susi
a
version?
version, it's a
Do
recitation.
you believe in the Duri
The
version?
same topic.
Do
Let's
you
change.
believe in the Wash
Let's
version?
change.
Do you believe in the Khalaf version?
Look.
Do you believe in Ibn Ammar's version? Do you believe in the Duri by Ibn
Adding
Abi
a
Ammar's
version to it.
version?
You're adding a version
Do you
to it.
believe
This
in
guy is a-
Layth Ibn Khalaf?
This guy,
Do you believe
Islamophobe.
This qira'at.
We name him Bob the Builder.
What
Comes
version?
every Sunday. Attack. He
Which
can
version
defend.
do you believe in?
I want to debate with him. He don't want to
He
debate.
asked me one
He doesn't want to
question.
debate.
I
want
dealt
a
with
proper
that
debate.
question
Yeah,
head
proper
on.
debate.
Not a debate.
I have asked him
That's what he does
several
here.
questions,
Every Sunday,
and he has
attack.
ignored every single
Let's
one.
debate. Not asking questions.
Lenin,
You cannot debate. He doesn't know the
I've
Bible.
given you an hour
He
of my
knows that. By the
time,
time I finish with him,
and you have
he's
wasted
run away
it.
again.
So
By the
now
time
I'm
I
going to
finish
go
with
away.
you run. Let's debate.
Now I'm going to go away.
You see, it's going. See,
I've been
I want to
stuck. Wait,
debate, not
It's the
asking
best
questions.
Muslim line ever. I've been here
Not
an
asking
hour
questions.
debating him.
No, you're not
but
debating.
now I'm going to go
No,
away.
not debating.
He's going to say I'm
No,
running.
not debating.
That's
No.
what he's going to
No,
say.
no, last
so
time-
I'm going now, Lenin.
You see.
Go on, say
all
it.
the time.
Say it. I'm what?
This
What am I
is
doing?
NPC.
What am I doing?
Attack.
See you later, mate.
Attack.
Take care,
He's
man.
going now.
You owe me £300. I'll collect it.
Collect it for
You're
you.
on video. You're on video.
Why can't you have a proper debate?
I gave you a chance for a
asking
proper
questions?
debate. Everyone is my witness.
Pick up a topic.
Brother,
Take a topic. No,
Brother.
asking questions.
did he have a chance to have a
No,
proper
I
debate?
didn't. We did not. No.
You did.
Look, we
You
did not even pick a topic.
Leon, I know
He
you're
came
behind
and
the
asked
camera. I know you're
No,
neutral.
topic.
But
No,
was there
no,
a chance for a real debate here?
10 minutes. Pick a topic.
What?
Yeah? Pick a topic.
He was
said-
debating.
No, he said last time you run away from. You were talking about
JC,
Islam.
do you think there was a chance for a proper debate here?
Quran is violent. Islam is
Okay,
violent. No.
brother, you've been
It
studying.
controls
You're a Muslim.
slavery.
Do you think
Let's
there was a
talk about
chance for a
slavery.
proper debate here? A
His
chance.
topic and his topic. I'm not taking something.
We had the time. I've got to go, man. I've got to go.
That's not a
Quran got violence.
I
Islam
know he
got
was
violence.
shouting.
I know he
He is
wasn't.
good at that.
He had his chance.
But I blow me away.
He asked me a question.
As a liar,
I answered
as
it.
a charlatan,
I
as a
asked
fake.
him a question,
The
and
man
he
is
just
fake.
ignored it and started shouting like that.
Every Sunday attack, you can't defend.
No, he did ask me a question.
debate, you can't have
I answered.
proper debate, you can't have
I
it.
answered all
That one run away
It's
from
on
me.
camera. People
Relax.
on
He ran away from me.
People on YouTube.
Relax.
People on
Where is
YouTube.
Gary Google? Call Gary Google. I want Gary
People on
Google.
YouTube.
Let me finish.
Party Islamic Dawah team, you're right.
I don't follow any. I don't
This
follow
guy
any
is good.
team, I'm not sure.
No,
Anyway,
chill.
I'm going now.
You
Let
sorry
him
for
take
him?
care.
Are you
Peace
sorry
to
for
you,
him?
Jason.
You want me to chill? You sorry for him? Yeah.
Another time, maybe.
You are better than
Lenin.
him. He can't debate. You are better than
Lenin.
him. No, he can't debate.
You owe me £300. I want to collect. I want to collect.
Read the Bible. Study
You owe me
Quran,
£300.
Study Islam and come and debate.
When you can go back and tell me which version of the Quran you believe in.
God bless you.